Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Microeconomics Visual Learning. In this microeconomic class, today we will explore about the profit maximization. Let me introduce myself. I'm Norazina Abdullah from Uniza Terengganu. Let's continue our chapter. After completions about this chapter, the student should be able to explain the concept of revenues. 2. Define theory of firms and classification of the market. Explain the total approach and marginal approach. 4. Explain the types of market structure. Okay, we go to the revenue concept. What is revenue? Revenue means the sale received of the quantity or output produced in a firm. And total, what is the total revenue function? Total revenue is a value firm sales, or in other words, total revenue is the total receipts of a firm from the sale of some given quantities of a product. It can be calculated as the selling price of the firm's product times the quantity sold. Like total revenue is equal to price times the quantity. Let's we go to the average revenue. What is the average revenue? Average revenue is a revenue that's generated per unit of the output sold. It plays a role in the determination of a firm's profit. Per unit profit, average revenue minus average total cost. A firm seeks to produce the quantity of output that maximizes profit. Okay, the last one is the marginal revenue. In microeconomics, marginal revenue is the additional revenue that will generate by increasing the product sales by 1 unit. It can also be described as the unit revenue the last item sold has generated for the firms. Okay, we can look at the table for the concept of revenue. So how can we go to the example how to calculate the total revenue, average revenue and the marginal revenue? Okay, we look for the first example. Let's say in the column 2, okay, how to calculate the total revenue is column 1 divide by the column 2, which the 20 times 45 and you can get the answer is 900. Okay, how to calculate the average revenue? Where the column 3 multiply by column 1. Okay, where is 1,200 over the 30, whereas the answer is 40. And the last, how to calculate the marginal revenue is 1,200 minus 900 over the 30 minus 20 and you can get the answer is 30. Okay, see the simple how to calculate the total revenue, average revenue and the marginal revenue. Okay, we go to the concept of revenue for the perfect competitive market. For the case 1, for the under perfect competitive market, you see the price, the average revenue and the marginal revenue is the same. Okay, because the price in the perfect competition is the price taker. So AR, MR and the price are same when the price is constant. So the graph shows the horizontal line at the price of RM10 ringgit, which indicates that MR is equal to AR equal to price. Okay, so we look to the second case is under the imperfect competition. When you look that AR is equal to, but MR is less than the price when the price change. So when you look at the graph, okay, The graph shows that the AR and MR downward sloping and MR curve lies below the AR curve. Now, do you know what is the theory of firms? Firms, okay, we define first what is the firms. Firm is the institution where buys and hires the factors of production and organize them to produce and sell goods and service. Firms will sell the goods in the market at the market price and must cover all the production costs and earn a profit. So the main point in this chapter is the firm's objective. Okay, the main objective of the firms is to maximize profit and minimize costs. Firms will sell the goods in the market where the price must be cover all the cost of production and gain the profit. At least the firms must get the marginal profit. And how we can calculate the profit? Okay, the formula is the profit is equal to total revenue minus the total cost. And when you calculate, if the value of profit is positive, it means that total revenue is larger than total cost. But if the value of profit is smaller than total revenue, so the firms will find the loss. Okay, we go to the economic and accounting profit. What is the economic profit? Economic profit is the difference between the total monthly revenue and the total cost. But the total cost include both explicit and implicit costs, where the economic profit include the opportunity cost associated with the production and is therefore lower than accounting profit. How about the accounting profit? Where the accounting profit is company's total earning and include the only explicit cost of doing business, such as a depreciation, interest, and tax. So, the difference between the economic cost and accounting cost is the opportunity cost of resource that be applied by the firm's owners. Okay, we go to the total revenue, total cost, and marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. Profit maximization can be characterized with the reference to the total revenue and total cost curve or the marginal revenue and marginal cost curve. Okay, when you look at the graph, okay, for the first graph, total approach is the simplest way to determine the equilibrium of a firms. Okay, so under the perfect competition, under the perfect market, the total revenue curve is a straight line through the origin. The firm's maximum profit at on output because the vertical distance between the TR and TC curve is maximum. So remember that you have to find the largest and the highest vertical line between the TR and TC. Okay, we go to the second graph. For the imperfect competition, under the imperfect market, the total revenue curve continues to rise from left to right at a less than proportionate rate. A rational firms will choose the output when the vertical distance between the TR and TC is at the maximum. And you have remember too, you have to find out the highest vertical difference between the TC and TR, which there is a maximum profit for the firms. Okay, we go to the another approach, how to calculate the profit maximization. We go to marginal revenue and marginal cost. A firm is said to be in equilibrium when the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Okay, for the first graph, in the under perfect competitions market, MR curve is a horizontal. And when the MR is equal to MC, a firm is in the equilibrium at the point P star and Q star. And we go to the second graph. In the imperfect market, MR curve is downward sloping, same as the perfect market. When the MR is equal to MC, a firm is in equilibrium at the P star and Q star. Lastly, we go to the roughly in the market structure, but we will discuss more this chapter in the next chapter. So market structure is a number and size of buyers and sellers in the market for the particular goods and service. When we go to the market structure, okay, so market structure is an arrangement that facilitates the buying and selling of a goods, service, factors of production or future commitment. Or in other words, we can say that market structure is a market in a place where the buyers and sellers meet with one another and involve the transaction. So, market structure is an indication of the numbers of buyers and sellers, their market shares, the degree of the product standardization, and the ease of market entry and exit. Okay, we look for the types of market structure. We have the four market structure, which we have the perfect competition, we have the monopoly, we have the monopolistic competition, and we have the oligopoly. Okay, we go for the perfect competition, where in the perfect competition, there are a large numbers of buyers and sellers that are buying and selling identical product, okay, without any restriction on entry and exit, and having a perfect knowledge of the market at a time. So each buyer and sellers has no control over the market price. This means that each price is a price taker that face a horizontal demand curve for its product. Okay, we go to the monopoly. Monopoly is a single seller producing a product with a no close substitute. There is the effective barriers to entry into the market, whereas the firm is a price maker, also called a price searcher, because it faces a downward sloping demand curve for its product. In fact, note that this demand curve is the market demand curve. Okay, for the monopolistic competition, there is a large numbers of sellers and large numbers of buyers, which are selling a differentiated product due to the branding and labeling, and there are no barriers to entry and exit. So the firm is the price maker that face a downward sloping demand curve. And the last is the oligopoly. There is only a few firms in the industry that have the large numbers of buyers. There are significant barriers to entry to this firm, and the product can be either identical or differentiate, and recognize interdependence exists, like each firm realize that the profitability depends on the action and reaction of the rival firms. Lastly, finally, do you remind that in the real world market, most output in the product produced and sold in oligopoly and monopolistically competitive industries like this? Okay, that's all for today. I hope the student will receive insightful input for this topic. We'll meet again in the next chapter. See you again. Bye-bye.